Okay, good morning. It is March 30th, and we have about 10 minutes to the open. So I just want to, we're looking at a 5-minute chart of the S&P 500 here, and I just want to recap a couple of things for how yesterday, one of the things we talked about was up to about 3970 area. The all-time high, I believe, is 3978 quarter, if I'm remembering correctly. And we have yesterday 71 quarter was the high of the day. We said that was pretty much the very top of the range up there. So since then, the market has pulled back quite a bit. We have a KP down here at 4150, and we've been down to 4250. So I said last night in the walkthrough, in the review, that I was holding short. So I covered that while I was sleeping at 49, and wanted to make sure I had this target down here at 4150, but I wanted to make sure I definitely got filled. So that's over with. And at this point, there's a couple of important things that we need to look out for. So one of the things I look at is where are the gaps. So we have, and then I'm also looking at what has been tested or not tested. So we have this 4150. I don't love that it came within a point already of that 4150, but that's something to certainly be aware of. We could see a spike down here just a point lower than this swing, and we could see this hold. I don't suspect that we'll see a lot here at this 39 area, but this 3675 is definitely an area to watch out for. So buyers could step in here, buyers could step in here potentially, although this is not necessarily my favorite. And then there's a couple of things we need to look out for. So let's be down below here. So what you can see obviously is what happens is you get this fairly big gap that goes from basically 36.75 down to 20. And I showed you this yesterday when we did the pre-market video that it went right down here. So that puts us at 2850. And in this big gap, these can very easily be important, each one of them. So we just have to see if the market's gone a long ways. Let's say it just broke and it came all the way down here without any retrace. Might want to cover here in front of this if you were short. That's an example. A number of traders that use prediction points really watch this 50% level in between the prediction points here. So that's something to look out for. So the reality is if we do break this first 4150 and then 3675, if we do break that, so what could happen, the buyers could step in there and we could see a push again back up. And I'll talk about what we need to get through on the other side. But if we do break, this is kind of the first area we want to look out for. So this 33 quarter area, it's really, like I said, an area to look out for. Now, if that does break, then pretty likely we'll see here. Yesterday it was 26.25, so 28 half to 26 half, something like that. So one of these two. That's pretty likely as far as where the market's going to go down lower. And then this is fairly significant. If you see 20 here, and the next price below 20 is all the way down here at 93. So I'll draw that Fibonacci in here, and let's see what that looks like. So that gives you a midpoint at 06 half, which we talked about yesterday in that area. This is interesting. If they do break this 20, I'd be looking here and I'd be looking here as well. Each one of these is probably going to be fairly significant if they do break 20. Given that there's such a big gap down to here, I would say these will each be fairly significant. It's about 27 points. So each of these will be fairly significant. It's 14 quarter, 09, 3 quarters, oh 06 half, oh 03 quarter, and 99 quarter, let's call it. And then we have this. So this would be kind of one at a time down here if we were to see that. And all I did was draw a fib between here, and that's where these prices are coming from. So that would be fairly significant, especially if we were to break here and if we were to see anything more than kind of a probe right to here. Maybe not even, yeah, I mean, it's definitely not ideal for buyers, but we do have these. We kind of have to, so we'll keep up with it. On the other side over here, we have the CP that's untested. That's 52.75. And then this is key turns, which I talked about yesterday. It's literally 53, 53 quarter, 53 three quarters, and 54. That's where there's three of these prices, and they end up, well, basically six of them, but they're a tick apart. So uh, three sets like this. And so here's this CP that's untested for selling, and then there's this key turn. So there's a lot going on right here. Also, in the world of supply and demand, this would be a pretty decent supply area right here. Be the basically 53 quarter up to 54.50. So that's an area to look out for. Could probe up right here, and then we could see some follow through for lower. It kind of depends on how it's going to go here at the open. If they get much up above that, obviously we have the 60 area. I'd pay attention to this swing right here at 60.75, and then 61 quarter and 62. So it could just kind of be looking between the 60, 62 area, see what's going on right here. This little swing right here was 62.50. So just kind of keeping an eye on that. This little right here, this low was 62. So this 60 to 62 area, that's definitely something to keep an eye on. And then I'd say this is pretty much tested. That's pretty much tested. I shared with our map members, there's some stuff we're working on with prediction points. And if I could just kind of paint the picture for you from basically, let's call it 65.50. I'm going to just run through a couple of prices. So we have 65.50. And then this 70, and then 70 half, and then 71. So a lot going on right here. I know you can't see that as far as prediction points are concerned, but this is some new stuff we're working on with prediction points that we're trying to make available for you. Then there's 74, and then there's 75 half, and then 79, and then 79.75, and then key turns is up here at 81. So there's a lot going on up here in this area, and it actually is moving up. Most of it's moving up over time. So these prices are getting a little bit higher. So as we come up into this area, I would say really between like, I mean, it starts at 65 half, and then up to about, let's say, through noon Eastern, it goes up to this 81 area. So from that 65, but for sure from like 70 to 81, there's just a ton of stuff going up in there. So just kind of a word of caution. That's all I'm saying. Up in that area, it could end up getting extremely choppy, sideways, slow. If it were to just kind of blow through that and we could get back, above that, there is some room here. We've got above key turns at 81. We've got up to 88 half. This is a congestion zone. This would be a checkpoint up here at 39. 99.75. We've been talking about 4,000 for a long time. And then notice it starts to open up again. So not sure that's all going to be today. We've got plenty of room for the sellers to bring it a bit lower. We'll see if the buyers can step back in. As far as the story goes, pretty similar narrative to how yesterday was. As far as who's in charge and what could happen here. Kind of a really, really big range, and we'd need to see if they could break out up above that range. And today that looks more like up above 81 to get up above that and really have some strength. So does that mean it's going to get all the way up to 81? That's not what I'm saying, but I am saying let's watch some of these important areas that we've highlighted down here. See if the buyers will step in and start to push it back up. And if they do, a pretty obvious, if you were to end up buying, let's say they didn't come back and check 52.75, to me that makes a buy all that more appealing to me. And then same thing up here at 60. But for sure, if they haven't come back and checked this, I mean, buying down lower, to me it makes it much more appealing. So market's open. We'll see how this plays out. I'll do the review today, and thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the review video. And of course, if you're in MAP, we'll see you there.